Steps I Took podcast. We are back.
Back in the Dubai studio.
Yep, that's good. How are you?
I am feeling energized actually today.
Yeah.
Maybe from the matcha.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm a bit tired, but you know it's cool. Like I'm trusting you that this matcha will give me energy to push through the day.
I added some sweetness to it this time because I know I've been depriving us.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm getting a little sugar kick now. So, but you know, it's good to be back on the podcast that invites people to come through and share their story on the journeys that they're taking towards greatness.
Yeah, I'm really interested in today's story actually because she's been doing a lot of different things and now she's navigating all these different things with a baby.
Yeah, like from, you know, being an amazing coach at a very well-known gym in Dubai to setting up her own fitness apparel clothing brand and, you know, absolutely smashing it and throwing on fitness events to over 100 athletes. Welcome, Deborah Stokoe.
Woo, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm so used to calling you Stoked Fitness. So it's like, but no, it's good to have you here.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to getting into a chat with you.
Yeah, before we get started, we ask everyone the same question. And that is, what has been a highlight of your last 7 days of life?
7 days, looking after my baby.
Oh,
Keeping him alive.
No, that's nice. It's a newborn basically, right? How many months now?
He is now 3 months old.
3.
Oh, so
Nice.
cute.
That must have just completely like changed your life, right? You know?
Yeah, he's actually slotted in pretty well to our lifestyle. He comes on everywhere we go. Any jobs I've got to do, anything like that, he's there with us.
The photo shoots, he's there.
Yeah.
Like, I think I even saw on your Instagram the other day, like you were lunging and like he was like cheering you on, basically.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cute. Because, you know, I don't know. I've had a lot of friends that have had kids recently. And in general, most of the time, most people are like, oh, your whole life changes and everything revolves around the baby. But it's really, really, really nice to hear that he's just slotted into your life.
Yeah, that was our goal, me and Edie's goal. We are not adapting to him, he's adapting to our lifestyle. So he comes where we go, comes when we train. We just make it work.
Yeah, I love that. And because you both have like a very active lifestyle as it is. Was it always like that? You know, like going back to you as a child, as a baby back in Scotland?
I've always been active as a kid. I did all the activities. I was racing. I was in sea cadets when I was younger as well. I just had a very busy childhood. Did loads of things, skiing, lots of holidays and things like that also.
These are all like, you're like just skiing and sails. I would never have even thought to get into sailing when I was a kid. What was that like?
Obviously with sea cadets, that is kind of based around the Navy and things like that. So we got to learn loads of different courses, which took us to the sea. We got to do kayaking, windsurfing, sailing, powerboating. We did loads of competitions and stuff as well, raced against loads of people in different like cadet units and things like that. So I was always embarrassed as a child when I went into cadets because I was too worried about what all my peers were going to think of me. We had to wear uniform and we had to do different events where we required us to wear a uniform, and the thought of having to wear that in front of other people and being bullied by it was a horrifying thing for me. So I actually hid that for probably, and the whole time I was in cadets, none of my friends knew that I was actually in it. This was kind of before Instagram and before like Facebook and things like that. So there wasn't an option for people to post things or, you know, like see what you actually did outside. This is obviously making me feel old, like 20 years ago. So yeah, I was super embarrassed by what I used to do.
Did you enjoy doing?
But I loved
cadets?
it.
Yeah.
You can see it in your face.
Yeah.
I really did love it. And it did give me the option to do, like I said, different courses. So I learned how to cook. I shot a rifle in cadets. I did loads of different courses where I went onto naval bases and lived there for a week, and we had to live by Navy standards. So up at 6 a.m, hospital corners in your bed sheets, like making sure they're cleaned properly, put away properly, doing drill getting marched up and down to breakfast and lunch and dinner and living that really rigid kind of naval way, I guess. And it gave me a sense of...
And maybe some discipline.
Discipline, that's
Understanding
the word.
discipline.
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay, you still have baby brain. You just had a kid. Yeah.
It taught me a huge amount of discipline, exactly. And like I said, I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't want to share it with anyone because...
Why was that?
The fear of being bullied by it.
Why did you think you were going to be bullied?
Because kids are horrible.
They can be, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when you're like a kind of young teenager, you don't want people to know that you're doing these kind of things, wearing a Sea Cadet uniform, things like that. It's just not cool. When they're out smoking and drinking and, you know.
Yeah. Did you, so would you say that it was the Sea Cadets that kind of, I guess, sparked that fuse of, because, you know, like I said, I look at your Instagram and it's, you know, it's very active, you know, even like not too long after giving birth, you know, like I could see that you were itching to be active again and stuff. So would you say that spark came from Sea Cadets, or was your family like active as well? And
my mum and dad have always been super active. Like I said, got us into athletics as well. So I raced a lot when I was younger on the track, and I did a lot of hill racing. One of my biggest achievements with the hill racing was I was on reserve for the Scottish team for the national hill racing championships.
wow.
One girl had to pull out, and I was pulled onto the team and ended up coming fourth. And the girl who was meant to be like coming in first place, I beat her, and it kind of showed that I should have been picked for the team in the first place, but I obviously wasn't.
Yeah. How old are you when that happened?
Oh God, maybe like 14.
Wow. Yeah.
A long time ago.
Do you think all of these? So it's interesting to me because I would have thought that being in the cadets and winning races like that would have built your confidence, and then so going out to like the public and your peers, you don't care that they know what you're doing because you're confident in it, you're good at it, and you're good at what you do.
Yeah.
So do you think that it did help fuel confidence within you to a certain degree?
Definitely no. So if I could go back to my younger self now, I would be like screaming from the top of my lungs to everyone that with what I do, with what I was doing at the time. Like I said, being bullied and things like that in school, it's just not nice when it could just be easier if you just didn't tell anyone what you did. But yeah, now I would be shouting it.
Did you find that you had, I guess you may have kept it safe from, like, say, your school peers, etc. Did you find friendship or connection within Sea Cadets?
Yeah.
And the community within that?
Yeah. So one of my best friends at the time, we went through it together. And I guess it just kind of fizzled out. Kind of when I was getting to maybe 15 or 16, I kind of stopped because like cadets is capped, because by that time you're kind of moving into like actually joining the Navy, which I didn't do in the end. It was a thought to potentially do that, but things kind of took me in a different direction. But with learning a lot of the skills I got in cadets, like it took me to America, which is amazing. I did Camp America, where I taught the kids there how to windsurf for the summer, and I did that for 3 summers in a row, which was really cool, which then sparked my bug for travel. And basically since I've been about 19, I've just been kind of doing my travel and living in different locations, and like that's kind of shows the difference between my sister and I. Like I left, whereas she's kind of stayed. But yeah.
So with enjoying fitness, is that why you've moved into the fitness industry? And then obviously being in fitness, you can go anywhere in the world, right?
Yeah. So when I was 19, I was taking part, like I was part of a gym, a ladies' gym in my town. And I was also studying sports coaching and development at college. And there was one evening that an instructor in the gym had called in sick, and the manager was like, I know you're doing this course, would you be interested in coming in and like kind of shadowing to try and get a job in the gym? And I was like, okay. So from there I got my qualification, my first fitness qualification, and I started working in a gym when I was 19, a ladies' gym. And at that point I was working in a gym working in a cafe at college full time and working at Snow Factor, which is like an indoor ski slope, which was another passion of mine, like skiing as well.
Amazing. So what made you carry on down the fitness route then?
I just enjoyed it. I loved it. And then I think around about then is where kind of CrossFit for me became a bit of a thing. Like it wasn't really known really what CrossFit was, and a CrossFit gym opened in my town. And I joined and I found a love for it. And I was still running at this point as well, racing on the track and hill racing. I just continued. It was from there, I kind of went to Australia and I was working in a boxing gym, 9 rounds. I don't know if you know what that is.
No, I can't say.
Just a boxing gym.
Yeah.
I was working there, and then I got my CrossFit qualification and I was teaching CrossFit, and then
In Australia as well?
in Australia, and then long story short, I ended up in Dubai working at Warehouse Gym as a CrossFit coach.
Nice. I wanna touch on Warehouse Gym in a bit. I just want to kind of go back to the dynamic of you and your sister. How's the relationship with you both now, and in comparison as well? Like, how was it growing up with you two?
My sister and I, we have a okay relationship. We're very different. She's, like I said, she's a home bird. She's quite happy to stay at home. Whereas I like to travel, but when we come back together, we do have like a really fun relationship. And she just got engaged last year, and is getting married this year. And it's funny because you feel, because I've been away for so long, you just think you're still these young girls. But actually, when you step back, we are grown women now that have moved into this like adulthood relationship where I don't see her really as a kid anymore, because we are adults and she's getting married and like moving into a new house, like probably next stage having a baby. So it's really cool. And it was really cool to see her like being an auntie for the first time as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really sweet.
Are you close in age? Or?
She's 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So with enjoying being so active as well as enjoying traveling around the world, Navy kind of sounds like a good option, right? Because you get to be active and travel and get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you turn against going into the Navy?
I think it was maybe just a bit too rigid for me. It was just a passing thought, like that could be something I could do, but like going from just like a general officer to becoming like I don't even know the proper name for like a head officer there, it would take 12 years. And at the time, 12 years was such a lifetime, was such a long time. But I was actually just talking to AD. I could have done that 12 years and retired by now. So looking back, it would have just taken me on such a completely different journey. And I don't know, obviously you don't know what could have happened in that time, but I'm just so happy that I continued the route that I was doing, because it's just what I've done in the last like 15 years has been amazing.
Yeah, and it sounds as if as well, like with you, you've travelled and you've gone where you want to go, and I think with the Navy, as much as you will get to travel, it's obviously according to the schedule that that they set. So, so what made you choose Australia to start off with?
I had just had a friend that moved out there, and I think this is probably just Instagram and Facebook was obviously kind of just coming about then. And I was seeing her like posts and things like that, and it was always something I wanted to do after I passed my college degree.
Was it seeing Christmas celebrated on the beach and stuff? Is that what
it was that, and it just ended up falling into place with just what time I went. There was a specific time I needed to be back the next year for a friend's wedding, so I had maybe about 10 months when I was in Australia, and it was just amazing because my mum has travelled everywhere. I mean, if you met her, she'd tell you straight away that she'd been to Saudi and she's been to New Zealand. Like, she loves to talk. So her travel, probably her experiences has definitely probably helped me move into doing a lot of travel myself.
Yeah. So when you chose to go to Australia, does that mean, did you choose to go there off the basis of the pictures you saw, or did you choose to go there as well because there's a sense of comfort going somewhere where you know someone already? Or was you just on your own?
Probably both. Knowing I had a friend there as like a small anchor was probably really helpful, because I could have went anywhere, but I didn't know anyone. So I knew her. So as soon as I landed, she picked me up and I stayed with her for a couple of days, and she helped me get a job. She introduced me to a couple of people. So having that base, that anchor, was definitely helpful for sure.
Where did you, obviously you went back to the UK for the wedding. Where did you then choose to go next?
So in between that, I knew someone that lived in Dubai. So I came back for the wedding, spent the summer in Scotland, and then went to Dubai.
And you've been here
afterwards.
since?
And I've been here since.
So how long have you been here
What year was that?
About 2018.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
7
you've been
years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good while.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is scary.
Yeah.
Time flies here.
Time flies. You blink
does.
and then it's like, wow, like 4, 5, 6 years are gone, and it's
Yeah, mine's nearly 9 now. So literally it goes fast.
Yeah.
But you've accomplished a lot in these last few years, especially being out here. So when you came here, you were working as a PT, is that right? Or
Yeah, so while I was in Australia, I was in contact with someone that lived here just randomly. I can't really remember how, but she got me into speaking with the manager at Warehouse Gym. And basically my first job when I came here was working at the Dubai 3030 that was based down in downtown, where we had a pop-up, and I was taking like small classes for the Dubai 3030. And then just from there, I got classes, and then
so you've been at
Yeah.
Warehouse ever since?
ever since.
Wow, I love
I think
that.
I'm the longest standing Warehouse Gym.
wow. And
Employee.
you've obviously, I guess, been, because it's grown a lot since, I guess, since when you first went.
massively.
Well, how big was it when you joined in comparison to what it's at now?
So I think there's maybe 7 or 8 gyms now. There was Alcu's. I started in Business Bay Gym, which is now closed for classes. It's just the gym that's there now. This Springs, they're like JP's now here. They're opening. I was in JBR as well, which is closed down, which is such a shame, because that definitely was the best gym out of
really?
all of them.
Oh,
yeah,
best one?
it was right on the beach. It was
Oh, wow.
amazing.
Oh yeah, that is nice, because they used to do classes that
Yeah.
going out onto the beach.
Yeah,
What's there now? I'm just trying to picture whereabouts it was.
that's the pavilion.
Ah,
Yeah, next to Blah Blah.
yeah.
It was in there.
Oh.
Yeah, 'cause I used to be part of the Springs one actually
Yeah.
years ago, but I'm waiting for the Science Park one to open.
Oh yeah, so am I.
That one's by my house.
Any like inside info on when that might be?
I would say, I think in the next few weeks, I would say, let's just say maybe start of April. I
Okay,
reckon.
yeah, that's good. Okay, just after
It
Ramadan.
does look amazing.
It looks
I've seen
amazing.
it.
Yeah.
They have a co-working space.
Yeah.
They have the sauna. They have everything.
I think they got studios as well, haven't they?
They're going to have class space. So the top floor, there's like 30 treadmills, a million machines, skis, rowers. Like it's going to be like a good space to do high rocks training. And then underneath, there's going to be where the classes are, the cafe, the workspace. I think a cold plunge and sauna as well.
Yeah,
So
that's nice.
it's just such a great location, because I live there as well. So
Oh yeah, so it's easy. Convenience is key, especially with this traffic.
So 2018, you're here. You're a coach at Warehouse Gym.
Yeah.
And then obviously 2020 hits, COVID hits.
yeah.
What is that like? Because I know certainly across the world there was a trend where, you know, gyms close and everyone's on Amazon ordering a yoga mat and dumbbells to try and work out at home and stuff.
Yeah.
But from, I guess, the perspective of someone who worked in the gym, what did your world start to look like?
So it was round about March 2020. Oh no, it was, 2020, because I think it hit kind of end of 19. We just got a text in the group chat to say the gyms are closing from 12 o'clock. Don't come back.
Wow.
And I was just like, what? So there was no real like inclination of what really was happening, because no one really knew. I think it just came out in the government, like everything's shut down. So from there, it was just basically getting updates from the group chats and seeing what we could see on the news. And yeah, I don't think I worked for maybe 3 or 4 months. I didn't get paid for that time either. Luckily for me, I was living in quite a big villa at this time, like a shared villa, just in Alberta with a huge garden. So that allowed me to like be outside and train, and I ordered some mats and some dumbbells and things like that. So I had things I could still train with. And again, like Instagram at that time wasn't too, like you couldn't really do live feeds, I think, just at that time. So I think we did like Zoom calls with clients that were still coming to the gym. Like you do different classes with people like on camera with them. So yeah, it was a really weird time.
Weird time. Yeah. So what then made you transition into being like, I'm going to open my own gym wear company?
When everything shut down, because I don't know, you were here.
Yeah.
Well, I came, in between kind of. I came 2020, so.
Yeah. So Dubai was good because we had that 3-week lockdown where you just couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't see anyone. Like your shopping was like getting delivered. So you just couldn't leave. So that, like the boredom really started to kick in. And basically I just started drawing it on a bit of paper, and I came up with a logo first, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? And
this is your logo on the
this
t-shirt?
is it.
Let's get a little.
Where is it?
This is what you started with, a sketch.
I started with a sketch. And I've still got that sketch, which is quite cool. Like I'm going to frame that at some point. Yeah, so this sketch, and I was like, oh, that kind of looks like an O and a C. Like, what could that mean or whatever? And afterwards came up with a name, and I was like, right, where can I go with this? And basically from there, I just started researching like manufacturers and things like that, like to get into. It was always kind of like way back in my mind to do some kind of clothing brand, but I'm not business at all. Like I wouldn't have a clue how to do it. So I just kind of put it off, but this boredom really got to me. And basically just started Googling, researching, and found a company that put my logo on their garments, and I got samples sent. And yeah, in fact, before that, with COVID, all the towels and stuff you got in gyms, they stopped doing towels. Sweat towels. So my first idea was actually to put the logo on a sweat towel. So I got towels sent to me, like the sweat resistance ones, and started selling them for like I think 15 or 20 Ds or something. And I was like, okay, like maybe this could be something. And yeah, then started researching leggings, bras, things like that, and got my first sample sent. And I think my first order was like $300 or something like that of money that I didn't really have at the time, but I was like, I just need to kind of take the risk. And
what was your first sample like?
it was the best leggings I'd ever tried on.
Really?
I'm not joking. And like, I do love Lululemon, and I do love these other brands, but Lululemon was one of my favorite brands. Like, I'd spent thousands on it, and I was like, there's got to be a cheaper way to do this. And I was like, this is exactly the same. Like, this is such good material.
Because I'm shocked that the first sample was so good.
Yeah.
Because I've spoke to a lot of people that have started clothing brands and looking for particular materials, whether it's bikini or fast fashion or gym wear. I've tried making gym wear before. Oh my God, like it's not just, I thought, it's not just simple. The first sample it comes is good. So it's amazing to hear that actually, in your case, it was.
Literally. So I've been speaking to my manufacturers today. They're the people I've stuck with the last 5 years.
Wow.
Literally, the first samples I got, I was like, this stuff is really good. Like, I really love it. And I've just worked with them the entire time. I have looked at other manufacturers as well, but it's just not quite like been up to scratch with what I want. So I think honestly, like, that was just a stroke of luck for me that it was good at the time.
Wow.
So would you say it was the fact that you were idle, told you're not being paid, because that would put the fear in most people, right? Like you got the security of a job, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And would you say that it was that spurred the creativity in you to to do all of this?
It could be. I think for a long time it wasn't about the money for me because I never really knew where it was going to go. It was more like a passion thing because I was in the gym, I was surrounded by people all the time. It would just be cool for people to be wearing something that I created. I wasn't worried that I wasn't going to have money at the time. That wasn't a worry for me.
Yeah. During COVID, when you kind of, were told not to come to the gym, you were fine with things. You were just like, yeah, okay.
It was fine because I wasn't I wasn't doing any online coaching or anything like that. Like I think I'd had enough money saved up that I wasn't worried. I didn't have big payments that had to go out every month. Like
all your utilities were covered.
Everything was covered.
Yeah, you were fine. Yeah,
everything was paid for, so I had no outgoings basically. So I wasn't too worried, and I had savings and stuff like that. So, and I knew that the gym would eventually open back up. So I didn't jump ship and try and
No, that's fair
go
enough.
somewhere else.
And then with your first sample, and you said that you were completely happy with it, because a lot of people waste money, don't they, on samples and stuff. How much did you spend on your first sample?
So the samples I got maybe $100 or something like that. But for me at the time it was
it's a lot.
Yeah,
it was a lot of money. Yeah. And then when I realized the stuff was good, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a few more PCs and start selling it internally to the girls in the gym, because there was a lot. Obviously, it was lockdown or COVID at this time. A lot of the girls were Emirates cabin crew, so no one was working. So they were coming to the gym all the time. So they were wearing their fitness wear all the time.
How were you doing that? Were you just going up to them? Oh, hey,
So basically, I'd start wearing.
Open the jacket, just got bare sports bras.
I'd start wearing it myself, and then people started buying it. And I don't know if it was they felt sorry for me or they wanted to support me in some kind of way. So they did. People started buying, and then my first big order was about $300, and then from there, I would say for maybe about a year, I had no proper money. Everything was coming out of my salary, paying the shipping, all this kind of stuff. It was a lot of money, so I felt like I was a bit in the negative, but I did start making money from OC, so I was just right, okay, so this is definitely something I can continue. And then it got to the point where I was selling under the carpet. I had cash under my bed that I needed banked. And I was like, right, I need to properly do something about this. So then I would say maybe a year into it, I had to get the trade license, and then I built the website by myself.
Wow.
Kind of bootlegged my way through that, watching a lot of YouTube videos, just learning. I mean, even now it's still not the best website, but it definitely does what it needs to do.
Still now 5 years later, it's the website you built.
It's the basics of the website I built, and I've had some help along the way to make it look prettier, but it's still the foundation of what I built, the skeleton.
That's amazing.
So it sounds like you've kind of just almost freestyled.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was going to ask you actually, because you said earlier that you don't necessarily have a business mindset.
No.
So obviously it's great having an idea. It's even greater that you've now executed the idea, but having the clothes, that's not the end. You have to be able to market them. You have to understand what's the best price point after the shipping and the initial cost, and maybe paying for some kind of all of these different things that you have to consider. That when you have your initial idea, when you was just leisurely drawing on a piece of paper, you're not thinking about, So how have you managed to tackle all of these other obstacles that come when starting a business?
I would say I haven't really looked to anyone. I've just tried to do everything by myself, and that's probably why it's not the best that it could be just now. Even with a lot of people doing paid ads and things like that, I don't know how to run an ad. Everything has been accumulated naturally throughout this whole process of growing it. Word of mouth, growing it on Instagram. I've done, like I said, no proper paid marketing for it, so it has done a lot kind of by itself.
Yeah. It's interesting because from the outside looking in, it looks like you're on point with everything. Because,
operations are running.
Even, because you're, from my perspective, it looks like you're quite good with social media, and, you're quite good at documenting, different parts of your journey. Like I feel like when I first like connected with you, I can just vaguely remember you like, I've read like a video of like boxes in like your apartment or something.
Yeah.
And I think, in today's day and age, people connect to a business when they see the journey that the business is going through. And so for me, I was like, oh yeah, she's on point. Like she knows what she's doing. But it's interesting to hear that, like actually you're just kind of working out as you go along. And I think that's the authenticity that I think people would love to hear, because a lot of people are probably like in the same position,
So from when I like kind of first started, I always just had the stock in the spare bedroom. And it got to the point that I was ordering from that $300 to like $16,000, $20,000 of stock. And it was a lot of money, a lot of stock that I was getting, but it was selling, which is obviously amazing. But having it in the house started to get a bit chaotic. And then kind of fast forward to last year, we realised that we had to change that spare bedroom because I fell pregnant. So all the stock is now in a warehouse that's fully managed by them. So they kind of, the orders come through and they see it, they package it and they send it out. So there's definitely more structure behind it. But
is that a fulfillment centre?
Fulfillment centre, yeah.
So if you didn't fall pregnant, do you think you would have taken that step to go to a fulfillment centre?
It's definitely got to that point because it was just too much. Like there was too many orders coming in, and it would be an order coming in and I would have to rush home and do it and then message the guy to come and collect it to get it sent. Whereas now an order comes in and they just deal with it. So it's so much more handy. So I think we kind of made the decision for this because with the really bad floods last year, I had just launched all the new colours in stock right at that week where we had that like terrible weather. You remember?
Yes.
And I had about, I think, 70 or 80 orders made sitting on my kitchen table for days because we had these floods.
Wow.
So we couldn't get the guy to come and obviously deliver because it was just chaos in Dubai, and I was like, I can't have this stuff in my house anymore. It's too much. So I finally took the plunge because the guy who owns Robo Stores had been asking me for ages, like, do you want me to be your fulfillment centre? And I just didn't know if it was the right business decision at that time.
Because they do take obviously a percentage, which
of course.
is why
but then
they do what they do.
It's completely worked out because it's taken the stress away from me doing it.
I was going to say, every day, like, having to rush home to fulfill an order. And it's like, I'm just trying to live my life a little bit too.
And has that also now allowed you to kind of, because there's a difference between like working in the business and working on the business. And I feel like it sounds as if now you've maybe got capacity to work on the business and, have a bit more creative direction on how you can kind of scale things up. Yeah,
so me and Adi were having this conversation and I think it's kind of a grey area for me just now because...
Adi, your husband, right? Just for the listeners' benefit,
Yes. It's a bit of a grey area because I do feel like I'm very attached to the business. I'm very like want to be in it, but I should be stepping back because there is still a lot of things that I don't know how to do, don't know like how to make it more scaled, like how to grow it even more. So I'm at that point where I do need to like really consider hiring people to do like the marketing for me, like build the website better. Just all these small things that you don't really think about that I'm still doing that I don't necessarily need to be doing because I could just pay someone that's better at it to do it.
In your journey so far, what do you think's been the most difficult hurdle to overcome? It sounds like it's been like really plain sailing for you, like almost kind of seamless.
It's definitely been challenging, but I think I've just kind of melted with it. Like I've just kind of grown as it's grown. Like I'm learning as time goes on. Obviously, I'm trying to like grow it and scale it, like I said. And one way we've done that is have the OC Throwdown, which was like a big ladies competition that I've done here. So we've done 3 already, and we've got in the pipeline
Fitness competition, right?
Competition in the pipeline of having the 4th one. We probably should have been doing it at the end of last year, but obviously I would have been heavily pregnant at that point. So that is kind of something we're going to look forward to do in the next couple of months to get that in.
A lot of people might have an idea or even make the sketch, but then think that everything's going to be so hard. And your story is showing that actually sometimes it doesn't have to be that hard. And even though there's a challenge, if you're up for the challenge and learning how to navigate and overcome it, then you're going to push through. Yeah. And right now you're still in a point of growth. I mean, we don't ever stop growing personally or professionally, but you're at this point of growth where you have to let go. And lots of us don't want to let go of our babies because we've put our time and our energy and our money into this. And it's like, well, yeah, you might be the professional, but how do I know you're going to do it better than me?
I think that's the hard thing as well with social media. I've seen a lot of other brands popping up over Dubai, and it's obviously inspiring to see, but it makes me think, like, am I doing enough? Like, I should have done things that they've done it that way. I should have kind of followed in their footsteps, or like I've missed stages that they're doing better, and I'm always comparing myself. Sometimes, and I know I shouldn't be. Right? Yeah.
But I think there's a balance to, you know, you need to know what the market is like and what, you know, what the trends are, etc.
Yeah.
But also, you know, you have to also allow yourself to kind of look at what you've got and be like, actually, this is doing well. You know, this is doing good, and
believing in the brand.
Yeah, that's what I do need to, like, I do believe that it's obviously amazing. Like, I think it's awesome, and I know that because of the sales coming through and the amount of people that are wearing it and the amount of people that tag it and share it, and like gyms buying stock so they can brand their gym on it. So when people wear it at competitions, like, they're highlighting their gyms and stuff like that. So like wholesale, which is good for other gyms, but yeah.
You talked about the competition, the fitness competition.
Yeah.
There's like a message behind that as well, isn't there? It's a women's fitness competition, right? I know you said that you used that as almost as a tool to help market the brand. But was there a particular reason why you made it female only, or?
I think there was just kind of a gap in the market for a ladies only competition in Dubai, and I think everything's like Scary RX, which is like a lot of CrossFit competitions, instead of just like a basic, more functional competition that would allow like a bigger range of females compete in it. Because I think a lot of people are scared to compete or, you know, take part in different competitions because they're not good enough. Whereas this allowed people to come and compete for the first time, and be part of the OC community doing so. So I think that's obviously something to be proud of, which is really cool.
That's what I was thinking. I need to get involved. Like, I've done things like High Rocks before, which I did enjoy, but I definitely wasn't prepared mentally or physically. And it's like, and I have a lot of friends that like fitness or are just getting into fitness and things like that. And we talked about signing up to High Rocks, and some people were like, oh, it's a bit scary. And I think everyone can kind of do it at their own pace, but in the same time, there's like crazy PTs there that are doing it on their own in less than an hour, and you're there with a partner and it's taking you an hour and a half, and you're like, I shouldn't be here. You know, you don't feel kind of comfortable, but it sounds like what you're creating is an environment that's comfortable for everybody to come to and enjoy fitness and enjoy a bit of healthy competition without having to be like a super high rocks beast, you know?
That's it. Yeah. That was the goal. And the amount of people that have joined the competition that hadn't competed before, like, it was massive. And it's really cool to see.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting involved in the next one. Yeah.
I have a meeting tomorrow, so let's see if the next one comes out in the next couple of months.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So you've done OC Throwdown, and Original Culprit is going, etc. What would you say is the biggest lesson that you've learned so far on your journey with OC? Because like you said, you know, you're freestyling, and you know, like, so there's going to be times where you've done something and it hasn't quite worked out, or you know, you failed, and what have you learned on the journey so far?
I've made a lot of mistakes. So by making these mistakes, I've learned from them, and not to bring myself down too much, because everyone does make mistakes, and it is essentially the only way you are going to learn. But yeah, make the mistakes.
Yeah. Any mistakes that you'd be able to share?
Oh, I've probably lost so much money making silly mistakes. I can't pinpoint any at the moment. But
It's kind of nice that you can't actually pinpoint one, because it just goes to show that, yeah, okay, I've made a mistake and I've moved on from it and I've learned and I'm just going to keep going. I think it is always good to reflect, but in the same breath, I think it's important to keep progressing and moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, my accountant was asking me questions this morning and I did not know the answer. So it's a case of like, if you don't know the answer, you need to reach out to someone that does or research it. So, I mean, that's what you have to do. Just speak to people, because we're in this community in Dubai where someone will know the answer to the question that you're asking. So, and people are really open to giving you help here, which is really nice also. So,
Yeah.
So with Original Culprit, is it just you that's running it, or like do you run it with Addy, or is it like, what's the sort of?
So Addy definitely helps a lot. I've been slack since having Benjamin. Like, I've definitely been a bit slacker, which makes me realize I should have hired someone before I gave birth. So yeah, he is taking kind of control of the men's side, and keeping me in a straight line as well, because like I said, I've been slack. But also I do have the business set up in the UK, and my dad is doing that side.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
wow.
It's a proper family.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So do you get stock sent to Dubai and stock sent to the UK then?
yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then I guess that probably touches on how important it is to have the right life partner
Yeah.
behind you when you're
Definitely.
pursuing your endeavors and stuff.
Yeah. For sure. He has backed me every way, shape and like every way possible. He does so much for me, and like, he's a blessing. He's so good.
Yeah. So how did you and AD meet?
So I was teaching CrossFit one morning and he showed up to the 6 a.m. class, and that's how I met him there. We both had other partners at the time and we just became really, really good friends. But he'll always say that at that point he fell in love with his CrossFit coach.
Really? Or on day one?
Day one.
Yeah.
Love at first sight.
And what about you? Was it the same? Was it reciprocated?
I would say so, because we had, from that point, I think we had such a strong friendship, and I think he tried for a long time to be with me, but we just had a friendship for a while. And I would say maybe a year and a half kind of passed, and it got to the point where friends were like, when are you two going to be together? And basically from that point, we were together, and yeah, now we're husband and wife and have a baby.
And how many years has it been? Or how long?
About a year and a half, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful, because lots of people, I would say find it hard to find a partner in Dubai, and there's no good men and there's no good women. So it's really nice to hear a story like that, where actually you can find a loving, supportive partner in Dubai.
Yeah, and that is definitely him. He's unreal as a partner. And I think it works so well with us because we were best friends beforehand, and it kind of just naturally kind of moved into that. I mean, I think when we were friends, he asked me to marry him probably about 50 times in between that time, and I was just like, can you stop? And then
And then you're like,
He
okay.
hooks me in.
51st time. You were
that
like,
was it.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you were able to build a friendship from you being his coach, because I've had lots of coaches and I haven't been friends with them.
So a lot of people have coaches, but it's just they're just a coach, and
You might have a one friendly conversation,
Yeah.
but you're not exactly exchanging numbers and trying to meet up with them for a coffee.
He'd never done CrossFit before, but he's pretty good at it now after me being his coach. So
Love that.
Yeah. So what? He's only been doing it for a year and a half. CrossFit.
that will be a bit longer.
Okay,
I would say maybe 2 or 3 years he's been doing that, because he was a
Yeah.
bodybuilder before. But
And I think the moral of that story is get yourself into a CrossFit class.
that's it. At Warehouse Gym, Science Park. Come and join me there.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love.
And now you're balancing being a businesswoman,
Yeah.
successful businesswoman,
Thank you.
and being a wife and being a mother.
Yeah.
How are you finding juggling all of that?
You know, like we touched on earlier, like Benjamin is slotting into our lifestyle.
Yeah.
We're just trying to make it work with him.
How do you do that though? Because like some people like, this is my child's nap time and that is all that matters and they must nap at home, or this is their feed time, and like having those strict routines. Are you able to have a routine that you are able to stick to outside of the house, or is it just a kind of wing it process?
I think we're just very lucky because he is a very, very good baby. Like he sleeps, he eats really well, and he's just a generally happy baby, because I think he's in, like, me and Adi have such a good, happy, like, fun relationship. There's no stress, there's no anxiety, so he doesn't feed off that, which makes him a very calm, chilled little guy. So he just adapts to us. Like if we're going in the car, he'll sleep in the car. If he needs fed, I'll just feed him, because I'm exclusively breastfeeding him as well. So there's like no formula. So like I need to make sure that I guess I'm prepared, that I've pumped enough milk for him. So that's why he's back with his dad just now. Like he can stay there. But yeah, we make it work with him. So it's super easy.
That's really nice.
I think we are just very, very lucky parents.
Yeah. No, it's great. I love that, you know, you're able to like use a family support and you know, all collectively pushing towards like the same goal and stuff. What's next for OC, Original Culprit? What's in the pipeline?
It's just expanding. I think for me, I need to take the plunge and hire some people, get the social media looking a bit better, maybe someone that knows a bit more on like the back end business side, just expanding that way, expanding the men's side of it, growing it a bit more in the UK as well, because it's there, but it's not too known. So we've got a couple of events coming up in the UK, so hopefully that'll help kind of bring the brand to light. And I guess the OC Throwdown is the next thing in the pipeline, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the OC Throwdown now.
Yeah.
So wait, is that a pledge on the podcast
That
that you're
is
going
a
to be
pledge.
taking part?
I'm going to go. I'm
Good.
going to take part.
I'll
It's
come
teams
and-
of
I'll come watch.
three ladies, so you need to find two partners.
That's easy. Yeah, I can do that. I'm going to find my fittest friends.
Yeah.
This is really good. But when you say expand, do you mean expand like your ranges, or do you mean expand into another country?
Yeah, so I would say I would like to expand ranges and colours, because I mean, I think there's so many people that have got all the colours and they want more. So it's like more colours and more shades of different colours, different styles, but also to get into a couple of different countries as well. So I'd love to get into Bali for sure, because I think the brand would just fit in so perfectly there, like the colours, the vibe, and Australia. I would really love to get in there as well. I've got a lot of friends that live there, and they keep asking, like, can I get it sent? But it's too expensive to send from here. So if I had a base there, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
What does Original Culprit, what's the meaning behind that?
I don't know, my mom used to call me, like, you're the culprit of who did that. Like, in like kind of like naughty way. And I don't know, I just was playing with words, and like original was kind of the first word that kind of matched with it. It just
Sometimes
came.
it just comes, yeah.
It just came to me.
That's nice.
It's something
though.
different as well.
Yeah, it is. It is, to be fair. That's really exciting that you want to get into these other countries. I think Bali and Australia are both great countries to be in. And I always think of Australia as a place that has really good clothing quality. Like I've had certain things delivered, and the import fees, I'm not ordering from Australian brands anymore. So it would be really good for you to have a base there. And obviously there's lots of fitness going on there and in Bali as well.
Yeah.
So it is
and that's
exciting.
the thing, like fitness is just getting more and more popular. Like everyone's into fitness now. Everyone's into their high rocks, everyone's into their running. So like there's just a huge demand, and like being girls, like we want to have a different outfit every day. Guys, not so much. They don't care, I would say.
I mean,
You like your
yeah, I like to, I don't like, I like to switch up my outfits. Certainly in the gym as well. Like more so recently.
Good
like,
to know.
I think back in the day I used to just always wear an Arsenal top. Like whereas now I'm kind of like Yeah, I'll
I
switch
think
it
because
up.
you're there all the time as well.
Yeah, I think in the last like maybe like year to 2 years, I've kind of like made it more of a lifestyle thing. So
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, yeah, like I need to switch it up. You know.
Yeah. And I think again, having Instagram, if you're wanting to post your workout, you want to be wearing something different. So I think that's what kind of
And
catches
something
people
nice
out
as well. Something
Yeah.
that's,
You
especially
wanna
for a
be
woman, something that's
exactly.
supportive and comfortable. That's not like giving you muffin top and all of this kind of thing and like
Exactly.
fat in random places.
Yeah.
What about the OC Throwdown? Do you think you're going to take that into other countries as well?
It would definitely be something I would be interested in. It's just there's so many logistics behind it. It's definitely something I would think about, but there's a lot to think
that goes
about.
on. Yeah.
There's a lot that goes on, and like it's a bit harder for me now because obviously I've got the baby, so he would obviously, like I said, he would always need to be coming with us because we're not quite at the stage where we would want to get a nanny or have help yet. So yeah, maybe just for the UAE now, and then expand.
Do you have any aspirations in terms of, you know, getting OC in, I don't know, like sports stores and
So yeah, there's been a couple of things come up that have kind of fell through. But yeah, I would love to get into some shops. I have been in touch with a couple of places. It's just, again, like logistics of how things work. And because like I said, everything that I've made, like I put back into the business. So like, it's not like, it's just, yeah, it's a logistical thing
I think
that I need to work
getting
out.
into shops is quite difficult.
Yeah.
especially out here as well.
Yeah, I don't think not just getting into them, but there's also like the percentages that they take and
Yeah.
all of that kind of thing. But then I think it's also a case of looking at it as a bit of a marketing
Yeah,
ploy.
as a PR kind of. Obviously, at the moment, you're not coaching, right?
No. So yeah, I will go back when Science Park opens. And the thing is, like, I don't need to be working in the gym. Like, I love doing it. Like, I love what I do, and keeping in the community is really important for me as well. Like, it's just something I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'll see you in Science Park when it opens.
Yeah. So we also have like a tradition on the podcast at the end where we ask all our guests the same question. And that question is, if you could introduce one rule for everyone to follow, what would it be and why?
This is a big question.
This is a
You
big
know, I've never
question.
asked you, Giovanni.
I've never asked you either.
Follow your dream if you have one, even if it's something that's super small and you don't think it will go somewhere, like I did with OC. But follow your dream with anything that you could think of that you want to do. Just do it. Don't hold back on your dream, I guess.
That's really nice.
That's really good, yeah.
No one has said that.
Yeah.
That is a really nice one.
Because I bet the younger Debs was probably, never would have imagined, having your own fitness clothing brand.
Yeah.
And literally all because of, it's almost like you look back and you think, if COVID didn't happen, would you have even sketched that? You said it was in the back of your mind in terms of, but would you have even had the time to?
No.
I think so many businesses and so many things were birthed because of COVID, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people took COVID as a negative time in their life, but I would take away every time that it was the most impactful year of my life, I guess. Yeah.
I think for me as well, because I don't think I'd be in Dubai if it weren't for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'd be no podcast.
Yeah.
There'd be no lovely Debs to chat with myself and the chatter today.
There you go, exactly. I was surrounded by lots of people who started things. I think Dubai just sparks creativity in people. Maybe as well because we were actually locked in our house. Like we couldn't, I would text to go from, I lived in Rembrandt at the time, to go to JVC to a shop to actually visit my friend. But it would be like, yeah, here's your permit to go to Motor City. I can't go as far as that because it knows. So it's like, you're trapped. So what can you do when you're trapped in the house? You just think of new ideas. It's kind of like being a kid again and using your imagination. It was really nice.
Yeah. But no, Debs, it's been great having you on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and wish OC all the best.
Thank you.
And yeah, thanks for coming through.
Thank you so much.